Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. My name's Paige, and today I'm going to be going over the 10 things that I feel like you really need when you're going on a trip to Iceland. I recently went on a trip to Iceland with EF Ultimate Break on their Iceland summer escape trip. We had such a good time, and it was a fairly short trip, only 6 days, but we crammed a lot in that time. So I just wanted to kind of go over things that I'm really glad that I brought, and I think you should too. All right, let's get to it. Like I said, we went on our trip with EF Ultimate Break. It's a group travel company for anyone ages 18 to 35. This was our 6th trip with EF. I absolutely loved it, definitely one of my favorites. If you or someone you know is interested in traveling with EF, just click the link below in the description and it'll bring you to EF's website. That link, if you book your first trip through it, it should activate discount code UAPAGE100 at checkout for $100 off of your first trip. If something happens or you're not seeing it, you can always contact EF and have them add it manually. All right, so the first thing that I think you guys need is definitely a reusable water bottle. Really simple, it keeps things cold, and all of the water in Iceland, all the cold water, is so pure. You can drink it from anywhere. It's delicious. So definitely bring a water bottle because you're gonna be doing a lot of activities, walking around a lot. So I think that having a water bottle, especially since you can drink from pretty much anywhere, is a really good thing to have. All right, second thing that I think is an absolute must when traveling to Iceland is waterproof pants. These are essentially rain pants, which means that I just wore like leggings or joggers or whatever and just put these over top of my pants when we were gonna be hiking somewhere or getting, wet from like a waterfall or something. So that way, once we were done, I could just easily take them off and not have to sit in wet clothing. And then I also could like fully enjoy the waterfalls without worrying about if I was gonna have wet clothes or be uncomfortable or anything like that. These are tried and true and tested. We got soaked at one point. I will link them in my LTK for you guys. All right, next thing I think is an absolute must when going to Iceland is a dry bag. Now, you can get fancy dry bags on Amazon or wherever, and that just means that you can put like your electronics, your credit cards, that sort of thing in this bag so that way it won't get wet. Now, I think it really depends on the activities you're doing, and like if you're on a bus and you can leave stuff on the bus, that's not as hard. But sometimes if you're driving by yourself or something like that and you don't want to leave your stuff in your car, totally understand. So here is an example of a little bit smaller of a dry bag. But you can also, if you're like, I don't want to spend that money, I'm probably never going to use it again, you can also just use like a big plastic baggie. Not this one because there's holes in it, but this is just an example of something. It doesn't have to be expensive. I'm certainly someone who's like, I'm going to spend a lot of money on a trip, and as long as something will get the job done, I don't need anything fancy. The next thing I think is really important to have is hiking boots or some sort of waterproof sneaker or something like that. So these, I love these. I've had them for years. Again, I will link it in my LTK, but they have really good grip at the bottom, which when you're walking around places that get, wet and slippery, it's really important to have this so you're not worried about slipping. And then these are also waterproof. So obviously you can't get like soaked, but like we were walking around in streams and water and stuff, raining, no issues. I absolutely love these. I've had these for about 5 years and I love them. They're not super expensive and they don't really require breaking in any, so I'm a big fan. Next thing that you're really gonna wanna pack for Iceland is layers, kind of like this. This is like a little thermal layer, so it's not super heavy. It's not gonna take up a lot of space in your suitcase, but it is going to keep you warm and insulated. The biggest thing with Iceland is the weather changes so rapidly, especially if you're like traveling around the whole country. So having layers is really key so that way you're never uncomfortable. I personally use like old long sleeve, kind of tighter t-shirts to wear. I also have little, lightweight thermals like this. You can also get them in a pack of like long sleeve or short sleeve. I would personally recommend long sleeve just because Iceland isn't necessarily a hot isn't really a destination that's gonna get super hot, but you can get a 4-pack for like 30 bucks. So if you're like, I don't have anything, or I need something new or whatever, that's what I would recommend doing. Again, I'll link them for you. All right, next thing I think is really important to have is a backpack. Now, this is my backpack. This was a gift. You don't have to have something super fancy or name brand like this. It was just a gift. This is why I have it. But I think a backpack, just because with all of your layers, with your dry bag, with your water bottle, with anything that you might be packing, snacks, it's, I think, a destination that you're not really going to be carrying purses. You might have a fanny pack, but most of the time, Jesse and I decided to carry a backpack with us because it was just easier to fit everything, not worry about layers, that sort of thing. Especially if you want to carry, like if you're with kids or something like that, you want extra socks, you want toys, something like that. It's just easier to have something a little bit bigger and lightweight. It doesn't need to be huge. All right, then, hi June. All right, next thing that I think that everyone should have, without a doubt, is a rain jacket. Now, I personally hadn't bought a rain jacket since I was in high school, and I was gifted one for Christmas because, you know, when you're a kid and everyone had the nice like North Face rain jackets, you're like, I have to have that. So I had one. It does not fit me anymore because I am not the same size I was in high school, unfortunately. So I bought a new rain jacket. It's a simple one. It's just from, you can't really see it super well, but it's just from Amazon. It's Columbia, and it's only like, I want to say like 50 bucks or something. So like you can get rain jackets for cheaper. You can also get them for way more expensive. But I personally, something like this, wanted to go with something that was name brand that I knew would hold up to the weather. I didn't want to get like the $5 or $10 rain jacket from like Shein or, you know, whatever cheap thing that you can find, because I was really worried that it wasn't going to hold up to the weather. So this one was really great. I also wore it in lieu of like a big jacket a lot of the times because it was really good at keeping warmth in when it was really windy. So not only was it water resistant, it was also wind resistant. So that really helped. Another clothing item that I think is really important to have when going to Iceland is a vest. So I brought 2 different vests. I brought this one. That's just like a regular puffer, nothing fancy. It's really compact, so like it's really, you can pack it really small. It was one of those down vests so that it presses really small, and that was a gift. I've had it for a long time. I think it was worth it because it was small enough to like fit under like my rain jacket and everything without me being super puffy or it being heavy, because a lot of the time you want to be warm but you don't want to be hot, you don't want to be sweaty. So I think layers that don't overwhelm you are really important to have. The other vest that I packed was another gift. Are you sensing a theme here? Okay, so this vest is actually a heated vest. Again, another gift. I know you probably are like, do you buy anything yourself? I do, but I don't do a lot of cold weather travel. So I really didn't want to break the bank and buy a bunch of different things. I think the only clothing items I bought for this trip were a new rain jacket that fit and my rain pants. But everything else I already had. So this was a gift, and it's heated. So it has like a little power pack with a pocket inside that you can hook it up into, turn it on. It's heated. I didn't find it to be super hot per se, but I did think it was nice to have just to give that little extra layer when we were like had those early mornings. This is the brand. I don't know, I found one that I think is the same or super similar on Amazon, so I will link that for you guys. And it was just nice because you can still wear it even without the power pack making it heated. It's just like a nice cute vest, like black plain vest that I think goes with any outfit, and again, super lightweight. I don't have this to show you, but something that I absolutely think you should bring, whether you borrow it, you have it. I wouldn't necessarily say you need to buy it for this specific trip. I would bring a camera, one that you can use to take pictures, take close-ups, especially if you see wildlife or a beautiful setting in the background. I can't show you my camera because I'm currently using it, and I already had a camera, so I didn't buy it for this trip specifically, but I will say most iPhones and phones phones in general nowadays have really good cameras. I do think nothing will replace an actual camera, but phones are great quality as well, especially it doesn't break the bank because you're probably already gonna have it. So bring your phone, make sure you pack like a reusable charger or something, because honestly it'll probably drain your battery with how many pictures and videos you're gonna take. I know firsthand I probably took 500 pictures of a single waterfall and nothing's gonna do it justice, but I thought I'd try, and I don't know if it worked out, but I absolutely think make sure that your phone or camera is always charged and ready to capture the stunning landscapes you're gonna see. Okay, and then the last item I'm sure you guys are going to give me a lot of grief for, but if you watched any of my other videos, you know how much of an advocate I am for this. Tums. Always bring Tums. Always, 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 because you never know how your stomach's going to react to different types of food, or if you're just gonna have a rough day, or if, you know, long days, high activity, less sleep, something is going to affect your stomach, and Tums will literally save your life. So I always carry them with me. We had someone on our trip get sick, and I was able to give her some Tums. It's just, I think, that is like, I will always travel with them. I think personally, as you get older, you need Tums more. They're kind of like an after dinner mint at this point, but I love it. So always pack Tums. Alright guys, I hope that was helpful. I try to keep it kind of quick and brief. I'm going to link everything that I can in my LTK, and please drop any questions below in the comments you might have. Like the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more travel content. I want to help you guys be able to plan your trip, feel prepared for traveling, and be excited for traveling, because I think travel is something that everyone deserves to have the chance to experience. All right, guys, happy traveling.